Hi, we are the History Pal Groups, and my name is Ellie, and my group members consist of Sharon, Krish, as well as Dhillon. So today we'll be covering about the case study of Mattel in China.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life is plastic.
Barbie.
It's fantastic.
This Mattel in China entered China in 2009. And so firstly, let me just give you a brief introduction of what Mattel and Barbie is. Mattel is an American toy manufacturing company that seeks to inspire imagination in the lives of little children through play. This case study will analyze the failure of Mattel in China, especially in 2009 when it first entered China, and will also provide the various solutions that are needed for this problem. Making of the Barbie doll has its humble beginnings since 1959 and sought to allow growing girls to be anything that she wanted to be. And basically this is what the whole vision of Barbie embodies. In the words of Ruth Handler, the inventor of Barbie. Beginning in 1959, entering Chinese market was a way to deal with the global financial crisis of 2008. Basically what Mattel did was that they saw Chinese as a potential market that they could enter. Case study examines the failure of the House of Barbie in Shanghai that was opened in 2009 worth $30 million, which eventually failed in 2011 due to poor marketing and communications. So in this case study, we have identified three factors that have led to the failure. The first factor being that their marketing strategies were poorly communicated across, as seen in the pricing and the store designs, and they were often too bombastic and too high for the middle-class consumers of China. Secondly, there was also the inability to understand the Chinese market, as the Chinese had different priorities as compared to the Westerners, which Mattel failed to understand. And thirdly would be the ideological conflict between the East and the West that is seen in the different perceptions of beauty as well as the different perceptions of femininity in the design of Barbie.
Now, the two parties involved are predominantly the American producers and the Chinese consumers, both of which have a tenuous relationship, as the American producers do not understand the basic tenets of the Chinese culture itself, which manifested in two areas. One, through the design of Barbie herself, and two, through the marketing and construction of the Mattel store itself. Now, through these two prongs, we analyze the social paradigms which contribute to the failure of Mattel, as mentioned by Ellie. Now, the design of Barbie itself does not fit in with Chinese idea of femininity. American producers fail to incorporate Chinese elements of femininity into the design of Barbie herself. Now, Chinese perceive Barbie as sexy as compared to Hello Kitty, which is cute and which is very popular in China. Chinese femininity consists of being gentle and loving rather than being smart, sexy, and strong, all of which Barbie embodies. Hence, Barbie is not a very popular figure of femininity in China and does not sell well. On to that, Barbie does not serve a particular educational purpose in the eyes of Chinese parents. Now, given the social paradigm of emphasizing education over playtime, many Chinese parents do not see the need to buy their children, particularly their daughters. Marketing is a huge problem for Barbie in China. The store itself caters to two different audiences. One, the adults, and second, the younger children. The adults are treated to cocktail bars, and children have birthday parties, which send a mixed message to individuals patronizing the store, as it does not have a clear message. While the location and pricing of the store does not reach a wider audience, as it's clearly targeted towards the upper class. This means that Mattel was not inclusive enough despite the burgeoning middle class. Through the issue, Mattel took on a very direct and exaggerated form of communication towards the Chinese consumers. This can be seen from the food menu as well as the store's design, which often was very glaring and catered largely towards Western tastes. Both they had a cocktail bar, selling the idea that this place was for higher class tastes. Furthermore, menus were in English instead of Mandarin, which is the lingua franca of the Chinese populace. In the communication, there is also a violation of Chinese expertise by Mattel, as mentioned previously, about the clashing ideals of femininity and priorities of the parents, also known as type moms.
Okay, hi. So in line with this idea of contact theory, holds that more Barbie outreach events be held to carry out interpersonal interactions with Mattel and the Chinese consumers themselves as well. And so we also recommend that we employ employees who are able to communicate in both English and Mandarin, because we realized that actually in the Mattel flagship store itself, there is a lack of English instructions, and so we feel that these staff would help to solve these problems. So regarding this whole idea of the range of products being sold, we recommend that Mattel itself take into consideration the fashion sense of Chinese consumers themselves, because these Chinese consumers were reported to be feeling very disappointed when they first came to the store. They felt as though the clothes didn't meet their expectations. And in line with this idea also, we recommend that alcoholic drinks be removed from the menu completely, since this is a society where Chinese women do not usually drink, and the whole idea of drinking is very linked to the men itself. And so this project undertaken by Mattel, it really needs to be guided by instead of a group of multicultural strategists who are able to really have a good idea of the host culture, and so that in designing the store itself, Mattel will take into considerations Chinese cultural conditions. And so even though Mattel seeks to impose its brand ideology in this Chinese society, we believe that there's nothing wrong with that, but we do feel that there really has to be a need to take into account the Chinese culture and the society in which they are building their shop in.
In order to improve this case, we propose recreating the doll and the Barbie store. For the case of the Barbie doll, the Mattel company would want to use Hello Kitty as a guide to recreate the Barbie doll, making the features of the Barbie more in line with the kawaii culture. The doll can be made to seem more cute and less sexy. Also, Mattel could use Disney as an example to add more educational facilities to the doll, such as an interactive Barbie, or a Barbie who could maybe teach the children about alphabets or numbers. For the case of the store itself, the location should be positioned at a place where there is more foot traffic and more recreational facilities that appeal to the parents, the Chinese parents of young girls and preteens themselves. Also, the design of the store itself is crucial to consider. The number of levels should be limited to 2 or 1 even, in order to provide more contact between the employees and the customers. More Chinese parents and children facilities should be added to the store, such as educational facilities, maybe a learning space. Parents and children can learn about how Barbie represents the aesthetic culture of China, of the Chinese society. A cafe can be included. However, it should be steered more towards including Chinese culinary instead of just focusing on Western food.
Essentially, at the end of this day, one important thing that we must all know and learn about this case study, mainly Mattel in China in the 2009 and its reason for failure, is really a simple lesson that all companies entering Chinese market or whatever market it is in the world needs to learn. It is this lesson: before you go in big in China, do your homework. Companies need to be flexible, adaptable, and responsive to Chinese tastes. And this main idea of learning how to adapt to the Chinese culture will be important and essential to their success in the Chinese market.